원룸스쿨. This is 원룸스쿨.
Yeah. I have to call the office so that I'll be with you.
여기가 아메시대 원룸스쿨입니다. 여기서 25명 정도가 이 건물에서, 이 방에서 공부를 합니다.
Now I'm not Amish. I mean, I'll be ready in just a minute.
아메시의 책상에 앉아봤습니다. 아주 편안하게 되어 있습니다.
Outside school for. My name's Martha. I'm going to be your guide. The house would not be. This is a tourist building. This is all this building has ever been. As you saw in the farmland tour, the house is not. The school is not attached to the house. The school is out in the field. The farmer donated a small piece of land. It has 2 propane outhouses. By code, they have to be propane now. And inside there'll be a wood stove to heat or a coal stove. And the teacher will have about 35 students, so they know when they need another school, and another farmer will donate a piece of land. The teacher will be in her late teens or early 20s, and she will teach until she marries. And if she doesn't marry, she'll teach until she retires. Once in a while it is a male teacher, but usually it's a female teacher. She sometimes has an aide, but not all the time. As I said, there are about 35 students. It's 1st grade through 8th grade, and it is a one-room school. The one-room schools are not unique to the Amish. In some of the rural areas of the United States, there are still one-room schools. When the young scholars start school, they don't know any English or very little. The teacher will be speaking to them in English. But if they do not understand, she will switch into Pennsylvania Deutsch, which is the language of their home. But the older students help the younger ones, the ones that are struggling are helped by ones that are doing well. It's a community more than individuals. This blackboard will be a little bit bigger than this. They study, in addition, they study health, they study history, they study geography. This is a parochial school, but religion is not really studied in the school. That's in the home and the church. One thing you'll see, they do not study science. They figure whatever job that the young scholar, they're called scholars when they're in school, pursues, that's their science. On the standardized tests that they take, that are through their statewide tests, these young scholars score as well as their English counterparts. If you're not Amish, they call you're English. Even they would call you English, even though you're Korean. Now, they do go to school for 8 grades. Everybody has an 8th grade education, including the teacher, the ministers, the bishops. Everybody's education is the same. They go to school for 8 grades, but if they're not 15 when they finish 8th grade, they'll meet with the teacher once a week. They will continue the German studies, and they'll be keeping a journal of what they're doing with their job. Now, they do learn German in school. It's a High German. That's a German Gothic and German cursive alphabet at the top. The German is the language of their church hymnal and of their Bible. So that is where the German comes in. Like over here, like for instance, there is a German alphabet. We learn like A is for apple, B is for bear, and that is the German alphabet. Do you have any questions about the school? Now, we had a retired teacher, a retired Amish teacher, put this together for us. They have a couple special needs schools in the county. That's for crippled or mentally handicapped children. They try to bring them in the regular schools as much as possible, but sometimes they can't. But this is where we got our desks. And back there, like, there are the names of the scholars and their grades. This is how the school's laid out. And over here are the names of their parents. When we were in school, this is what we learned to read with. And this is what they learn with. Now, they're learning English for the first time. They learn by rote. They don't really, even with when they're higher grades of learning, they don't discuss. They just learn by rote. And it serves them okay. So many, as you saw, I think on the farmlands tour, there are a lot of cottage industries. Not everybody's farming. So they're so used to the retail business and making change. The children are very, very good at adding and subtracting. That's really the house, that's really the school tour, unless you have any questions. In the home, they do not have a building. In York, they had, as you saw in the movie, they hold services in secret, in beds and caves. So they feel that the church is a community and not a building. This, did you see one of these on the bus trip? Did you see this? Okay, this is called a bench wagon. It's the only thing the church district owns. It's horse-drawn whoever house services will be at, church will be at, it will go there. The only thing the church owns, they own benches. And then these benches, after the church service, there's a trestle converting them into tables to eat. And they own the hymnals and the eating utensils to eat with. That's what the church owns. So church is every other Sunday because the bishop has 2 church districts. So you go to church where you live. So about once a year you'll have church in your house. The church service is 3.5 hours long, sitting on these benches. I'm going to play you some of the music if you'd like to hear it. They're singing, and I can let you see the German. It's very, very different. There's no harmony. In the book, this is the hymn they're singing. In English, it's I Will Keep On Singing.
Hymn, singing.
Well, no, I'll play it. I'm going to play it for you. It's on I can't sing German. I don't know German. I know Spanish.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
German.
Yeah, that's High German.
High German.
Yeah.
Old star letter.
Okay.
Yeah.
The music is passed down traditionally. They don't have notes. One person began singing, and then everybody joins in. No harmony. But the verse, there's many verses in a hymn, and it's sung very slowly. But this is one reason the service is so long, is because now you're going to hear a little bit of a sermon. It's a mixture of German and Pennsylvania Dutch. It's very sing-song. Now, there's about 150 people in the church district, and that's including the children. That's everybody. So they know when they need to form another church district. And when they do that, they have to select new ministers. Now the ministers are selected by lot, and that comes from the New Testament with the book of Acts when they were selecting a successor for Judas Iscariot as the 12th disciple. And what will happen after the service is over? Now men and women do sit separately during the service. The women are not ministers, they're not bishops. But men and women who are baptized Amish can nominate a man for a minister. In order to be nominated, a man has to be married. And when a man marries, he makes a promise that if he would be selected by lot, he will serve. So there will be a door that's ajar and they'll whisper a nomination. So usually if the man gets 3 or more nominations, he will be a candidate. So what they would do, let's say you have 5 candidates, you have 5, this is called the Ausbahn. They have 5 Ausbahn. One of them will have a hidden piece of paper in there with a Bible verse. The man who draws that is the minister, he's the minister for life. He doesn't seek this. This means it's for life and it's unpaid. He does this in addition to his job, and he and his family will live under more scrutiny as a minister. Now when they need a new bishop, all the ministers are in a lot to be chosen. The bishop is chosen from the ministers. The church district has in addition a deacon. Well, he's chosen by lot. What he does, when Jacob was baptized, he then submits to the ordon, the rules of the church. So the deacon is someone, if he sees somebody breaking the rules, he warns them. And if they don't shape up, it can come into the church, and this is where the person could be subject to the maidon, which is the shunning, or the ban, which is the excommunication. Now, the Anabaptist movement began in Switzerland in 1525. It's not anti-Baptist, it's Anabaptist, and it meant rebaptizing. Now, this was very radical because church and state were not separate, and these people were persecuted. Menno Simons later became head of this group, and that's where the name Mennonite came from. And then, in the next century, Jacob Ammon, which is where the name Amish came from, he split from them. He felt they were too worldly and too lenient with the shunning. That's basically the church service, unless you have any questions.
Can I buy that book?
I can tell you where. We don't have them for sale in our shop, but I know where that they are. It's all High German. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Gordonville Bookstore has them. Are you here overnight? Are you spending the night here? Are you staying in a hotel tonight? I'll give you directions when we get back to the box office. Because it's very close by. Okay, wash bathroom. They do have running water and flush toilets. They get their water, though, they don't buy it from the city. They have like a well, and they have water wheels and windmills, or even sometimes, did you see the railroad car on the property where the water's flowing down? But they have regular bathrooms just like we do. Now, they do not have electricity. They don't believe electricity is bad unto itself, but it brings things like television that they don't want. There's a business that converts these old wringer washers into gasoline or diesel powered. So this is how a woman would wash. You have a spinner usually as well, powered the same way to dry the clothes a little bit. Now, this is the first way you can tell the difference between an Amish and a Mennonite. The bishop ruled that a bicycle will take you too far, so that is a scooter.
Scooter.
But they are allowed by roller skates and rollerblades, because you really cannot rollerblade to Philadelphia.
Yeah. Upstairs. Okay.
This would be a boys' room.
A boys' room.
Yeah. There would be more than one bed. The Amish average 7 children.
7 children.
Yeah, that's
usually.
Yeah, that's the average. Yeah.
Average.
Yeah.
7 children.
The green shades. One time it was the only color available, but they're widely used because they cut out the heat and the light. These are called broadfall pants. There's no zipper. There's no pockets. These are made locally and they're worn year round. Now this is what the little boy would wear to school. It's got that X in the back with the suspenders, and the buttons would be something very conservatively colored. The Amish are a pacifist group, and in Europe, the military was wearing big gaudy buttons. This is what's worn to church, the hooks and eyes on a jacket and the vest.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the hat that's worn. When the man is older, and you'll see this in the parents' room, it's a bigger hat. It's a broader brimmed hat. Now these were the clothes from Rumspringa. This was actually in the movie, so I don't need to cover that with you. This is something the young people have. It's a horse and buggy driver's
Oh,
manual.
yeah, driver manual.
Because you just don't jump in the horse and buggy and drive, but they'll get, a lot of times they'll get a miniature horse and a small cart for the children to learn on, but it's not a toy. They're going to the store, they're doing chores with them. You don't have to have a driver's license to drive the horse and buggy, but you can get a DUI, driving under the influence. You can get cited if you get caught driving the horse and buggy while the rooms will not be. There'll be calendars, clocks. Everything's practical. There won't be family photos. I think they explained to you that the Amish do not pose for photos. They explain that.
Mm-hmm.
You can photograph the back, their horses, their barns, but not their faces.
Mm-hmm.
They feel that's a sin of pride. Now the men shave until they marry. And then when they marry, they grow a beard, but they shave the mustache and the upper cheeks because that was reminiscent of the European military. They had good big mustaches.
Mm-hmm. After marriage,
Yeah. They
have a mustache?
No mustache, but they grow the beard.
Beard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, did you see the children playing at school? So they play all the time. They love to play softball and they have teams and everything. In the winter, they're playing some ice hockey and basketball. Now on Sunday nights, the young people in Rumspringa, they call it singing. They get together, it's several hundred young people, they'll be at somebody's house, they will play volleyball, they will have a meal, and they'll have a singing. And this is where most of the young people meet their spouses. And it makes for a bigger gene pool because the plain people, because they have similar genes, they have some genetic diseases. And we have a doctor here this is what he does. It's called Clinic for Special Children. He does research.
Yeah.
Any questions? You can see them, but they do put clothes in the closet.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is called the craft room. The women get together for what's called Sisters' Day, and this is a quilt. This is called the double wedding ring pattern. I don't quilt, but they said you sit here and you sew and you pull it towards you. But this is your regular sewing machine, except it's not electric. It is a battery and an inverter, and it converts volts into wattage. The bishops realize that people need to make a living. So, there are ways to, make a living without the electricity. Any questions here?
Making a blanket, quilt.
Yeah, that's a quilt.
Like this. Quilt blanket is different.
Yeah. A blanket doesn't have a design. A blanket is for warmth. This goes on top of the blanket. Now this would be your little girl's room.
Your little girls.
She'd have, these are some books that we read as children. Laura Ingalls Wilder, the Bobbsey Twins. That's the kind of book she would be reading. The Amish women do not cut their hair. It's parted in the middle and pulled back in a bun. And so
not cut.
No. And she would have a mirror. This furniture is Amish made. It's very, very well made. Their furniture is very, very, it'll last for generations. You asked about the Amish hat. Now this is the second way you can tell the difference between an Amish and a Mennonite. The Amish hat is heart-shaped.
Heart-shaped.
Heart-shaped and has a single pleat.
Single pleat.
Now this is what she would wear to church for a little girl.
Mennonite, different shape?
It's circular.
Circular.
Then this is what she'd wear to school.
Yeah.
Now, she would only wear this color as a little girl. She wouldn't be wearing this pink when she's older. But it has a modesty panel so that when she bends over, she's not showing everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a little girl, she might have these dots, but not otherwise. The Amish women wear solids, and the Mennonite women wear prints and solids. So if you see somebody woman that's kind of plainly dressed, but it's a print dress, it'll be a Mennonite lady. She will wear the blue bonnet till she's a little older, and then she'll be wearing a black one. Now, she will have a doll. It will not be a Barbie doll. It will be dressed Amish. It doesn't have to be faceless, but it will be. She would be dressed Amish. Any questions here?
What is the name?
Cap? Bon?
Cat.
It's a cap.
Cap.
Yeah.
Cap. Just cap.
Yeah.
Amish cap.
Now, well, let me show you. Her shoes for Sunday for church she wears black. Otherwise, flip flops, sneakers, Crocs. They're worn otherwise.
Yeah.
The Amish believe that when a woman prays, her head should be covered. So the woman has her head covered all day, even like a bandana in the garden. This is what she wears to work. Now, this is pinned.
Yeah.
We had an Amish lady pin this for us. Now, some of the women are starting to switch to snaps. And this is what the Amish woman, unmarried woman, wears to church.
Unmarried costume.
Yeah, well, for church.
For church.
It's the white cape and the white apron. In this church district where we are located, the unmarried woman wears a black cap. Other church
unmarried.
Yeah, but other church, just right here, but a little further out there, in other church districts, they're wearing the white cap. So it's just here. Now, she is an older girl, so she might have white curtains and white shades, but she would have to take care of it. She would have what's called a hope chest. Women start keeping things in there for their marriage. They're like china. Now, this is the black cap she switches to when she gets older. Now, the Amish are starting to do some stenciling in the house, so when they started stenciling, then we started stenciling.
Yeah.
When the woman marries, they don't spend money on a wedding dress. She'll make this dress. She'll wear the blue dress again and again. The white cape and apron will be put away. She will switch to a black cape and apron, but she'll be buried in the white. She'll be buried in white, and the men, when they're buried in white. But when she marries, then in this church district only, she wears a white cap. In the others, it's a black cap. Any questions here?
Oh, this is a parents' room.
Yeah, now this will be downstairs because it's warmer and the father needs to get to the barn in an emergency. Here's the broader brimmed hat that the father wears. Now, they buy some of the children's clothes. They make some. But this is the cute one for the little boy for church. It's got snaps. Now, the woman's shawl is monogrammed because everybody dresses alike so she can find her own clothes.
Yeah.
This happened here in Lancaster County. There were some married couples and they were at somebody's house at Sunday night for singing. And it's after dark and the husbands are picking up the wives in the buggies. Now you see all the buggies look alike. They're all silver top. And the couple's riding along and she all of a sudden said, "That's not our horse." And he looked at her and said, "You're not my wife." And they went back to the house. Everybody thought it was a ride. But I mean, everybody dresses alike. The buggies are alike. Most of the horses are dark brown. Now they will have a crib in the room, and the baby will be in there until about age 2 or until another one comes along. These are made locally. It's an Amish diaper bag, and she'll carry that to church. She'll have a diaper in it to change the baby, and probably maybe some treats for a toddler to keep them entertained because that church service is 3.5 hours. As the woman ages, she will wear darker colors, more conservative colors. When there's a death in the church district, everybody wears black the first Sunday after the death. And then there's a prescribed time for wearing black for different members of your family. Any questions here?
Oh, wonderful.
Now this there would be a door here. We don't have the door, but the parents' bedroom would not go into the living room. Now, if there were church service here, this would be cleared out. They would have the benches, and then the ministers and the bishops would be meeting in here to decide who was going to preach.
And this area become a church.
Yeah. See, they had church at home, so that's how it would be. Now, it would be much bigger. Now, this is a piece of Amish-made furniture.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, wonderful.
They make very, very nice furniture.
Oh.
Now, take a look at this. This is a propane lamp.
What is this?
Heat. Heat and light.
Heat and light.
We don't have the shade because we're trying to show you how it
works. Yeah.
In every Amish home, you're going to have these two books.
Martha Millers.
Yeah, this is about the people who were martyred in Europe.
In Europe.
And then this is their Bible. It is
Bible.
It's a German translation from the Latin.
German.
Yeah, this is your High German.
Yeah, High German. Wunderbar.
Okay, and these are locally made toys. Now look at this one and listen to it as it goes down because it changes pitch as it goes down.
Wow. The toy.
Yeah. He's very close by too. The man that is that Amishman that makes these. Any questions here?
That is a toy.
Yeah, go ahead. Just pick one up and put it in the hole.
Here?
Yeah, drop it in the hole.
They made.
Yeah. Now the kitchen is the main room of the house because it is warmer. The house is it's not central heat. It's like heated with a coal stove or a wood stove, or propane, but it's no central heat. Now this was in the movie. It was a bigger table here when they were eating, but that was where it was filmed. And this would be the father's chair. They subscribe to a periodical called the Botschaft, which means the message.
Botschaft?
It means the message.
Message.
The scribes from all over the church districts in the country write what's happening. And because so many people have moved to the Midwest because the farmland is cheaper and more available, they're anxious to see what's going on. Now the Amish ride in cars, they ride in trains, they ride in boats, they ride in buses. So a lot of times they are, hiring a driver to take them to a wedding out in the Midwest of a family member. They do not fly except with the permission of the bishop, except for life flight. That's the helicopter that takes you to the hospital. That's, that they don't need any permission for that. That's just a given. The woman would have a garden. So she would have a pantry. She would be canning a lot of fruits and vegetables for the family for the winter. The stove will be propane. The refrigerator will be propane. Now this is the Amish iron. It's very heavy. She'd have one on the stove and one she'd be ironing with, but if you might have noticed, a lot of the fabrics are polyester because they don't require all this ironing, because if you have this too hot, you'll ruin whatever you're ironing.
Iron?
Iron? Yeah.
Heavy?
Yeah, very heavy. Now, the refrigerator will be propane, but they're usually butchering a hog or a steer for the winter, so the freezer takes a lot of propane. So right up the street at Coffin's, they rent freezer lockers to the Amish, or sometimes they just put the freezer in their English neighbor's house because they live in harmony. The neighbor will say, hey, just put it in our house. Any questions here?
Oh, wonderful.
Okay, and I think you will know what this is out here. What's that little building? What is
Later. little building,
There's a little building out there.
the restroom,
No, you saw the bathroom. It's the telephone.
telephone.
They do have, they control the phone. The phone does not control them.
Yeah.
They don't get up from their dinner table and answer the telephone.
Telephone building.
Yeah, but that's a telephone shed.
Yeah,
So,
telephone.
but they have an answering machine.
Uh-huh.
So it works.
It works.
Yeah. I read these books by this lady who was an obstetrician. You know what an obstetrician is? She's the one that delivers babies. But anyway, she said that the people write the phone numbers they call all the time right on the wall. And this Amishman called her in the middle of the night and said, well, you know, doctor, my cow's got mastitis. And she said, I'm not your veterinarian, I'm your obstetrician. But they do go to doctors. No, in Pennsylvania, we have school taxes. So they pay the school taxes in addition to the tuition for the private parochial school. They pay property taxes, they pay income taxes. They go to the bank. You just have to be very careful at the bank because the horse in front of you might make a deposit before you do. You didn't catch the joke. But anyway, I hope you've learned something about the Amish. They're people like us, just want to be treated like we want to be treated. They have their beliefs and we have ours. And, you know, I think they have a lot of values that we need to regain. Do you have any other questions?
This is old sewing machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, that's what a lot of people had at one time, but most of the women are using ones with batteries or pneumatic power. You know, they're not really using these as much.
Yeah.
Any other questions with anything? See,
Beautiful.
Here's how I can reach it.
Oh.
And see, you saw, I think, on the farmlands tour the solar and the solar batteries that, you know, use solar.
Solar.
Sun.
From sun. Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Now,
Wonderful. Wonderful.
if you want to walk back, I can give you directions how to get to the bookstore.
Yeah.